Hello and welcome to Reason News. Today we bring you a comprehensive report on the escalating crisis between Pakistan and India, a standoff that has drawn international concern and raised fears of a wider conflict in South Asia. Pakistan has accused India of lighting an inferno after a series of deadly strikes, while both sides exchange threats and the world calls for restraint. Here's what we know, what's at stake, and how the world is responding. What triggered the crisis? The current crisis erupted after a militant attack in the Indian-administered Kashmir 2 weeks ago left 25 Indians and one Nepali dead. India blames Pakistan for supporting the assailants, a charge Islamabad has firmly denied. In response, India launched Operation Sindoor, striking multiple targets in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, which it claims were militant bases. Pakistan insists civilians were killed and has called India's actions a cowardly and unlawful act of war. Overnight, Indian air and missile strikes reportedly hit 9 sites inside Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, with Islamabad claiming 26 deaths and 46 injuries on its side. India maintains it avoided civilian and military targets, focusing solely on terror infrastructure. In retaliation, Pakistan says it has shot down 5 Indian warplanes and a drone and has authorized its forces to respond at a time, place, and manner of its choosing. Heavy gunfire has also erupted along the volatile line of control in Kashmir, with at least 10 civilian deaths reported on the Indian side due to Pakistani shelling. Both India and Pakistan are nuclear armed, and the spectre of escalation looms large. Analysts warn that the region is at its most perilous since the 2002 standoff. Pakistan's military doctrine of quid pro quo plus means any Indian action will be met with a stronger response, raising the stakes for both sides and the world. Here's a video from the BBC News.
And this was the response. India says it targeted and destroyed 9 militant training camps operating in Pakistan-administered Kashmir and beyond. Pakistan says dozens of civilians were killed in those attacks. Calling the military action an act of war, it is vowing retaliation.
Pakistan reserves the right and will respond to this aggression at a time, place, and means of our own choice.
As border towns and villages like Islamabad lay abandoned, people in the region are left hoping that this brings recent tensions to an end and not merely the beginning of a longer and more protracted conflict.
The crisis threatens to destabilize the wider South Asian region. Non-nuclear neighbors like Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka are watching anxiously, aware that a conflict could paralyze regional cooperation and disrupt economic ties. The situation also risks further instability in Afghanistan and Central Asia, where both India and Pakistan have strategic interests. World leaders have responded with urgent calls for restraint and dialogue. The United Nations, United States, United Kingdom, China, Russia, France, Iran, Japan, Qatar, Turkey, Israel, and the UAE have all urged both sides to de-escalate and return to negotiations. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stated that a military confrontation between India and Pakistan would be unacceptable. They are urging maximum restraint from both sides. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy said this is a serious concern. Both nations must show restraint and pursue direct dialogue for a swift diplomatic resolution. China informed that they oppose all forms of terrorism but urge both sides to prioritize peace and stability, while France stated that they understand India's need to defend itself but urge caution to prevent escalation and protect civilians. United States President Donald Trump said it's unfortunate and he hopes it concludes quickly.
Mr. President, any reaction to the attacks between India and Pakistan?
No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time. You know, they've been fighting for many, many decades and centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly.
In Islamabad, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif addressed Parliament, blaming India for lighting an inferno and vowing that Pakistan will respond decisively. He authorized his military to undertake corresponding actions and warned that India would bear full responsibility for any further escalation. Indian officials insist their strikes were a measured response to terrorism, targeting only militant infrastructure. They deny hitting civilian or military targets and claim the operation was necessary to re-establish deterrence after the deadly Kashmir attack. Experts agree that a Pakistani response is inevitable, but the scale and timing remain uncertain. India's strikes, described as a Balakot Plus strategy, were more visible and precise than previous operations, making them harder for Pakistan to deny. However, both sides are under immense international pressure to avoid full-scale war. Retaliatory actions are likely as the military's rhetoric and the public mood demand a response. But there is also recognition that neither country can afford a prolonged conflict. Despite the heated rhetoric, diplomatic channels remain open. The US, China, and Russia are believed to be engaging both capitals through back-channel communications. Historical precedent shows that both India and Pakistan have, in the past, managed to de-escalate after limited military exchanges. Both nations are aware of their nuclear capabilities and the catastrophic consequences of war. Diplomatic efforts are crucial to prevent further escalation. Amid the military posturing, civilians on both sides of the line of control are bearing the brunt. Dozens have been killed or wounded, and thousands have fled their homes. Both governments have imposed media blackouts in sensitive areas, but social media is flooded with images of destruction and appeals for peace. With both sides vowing to retaliate and world leaders urging restraint, the next 48 hours will be critical. Will Pakistan's response trigger another round of strikes? Can diplomatic efforts pull the region back from the brink? And what will be the long-term impact on South Asia's fragile peace? What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. But until next time, stay informed, stay updated, and curious.